Imagine you are in a bustling market surrounded by various products vying for your attention. Now, think of stocks as these unique products, each with its own story, potential, and of course, price tag. Understanding company valuations is like being equipped with a savvy shopping guide in this dynamic market. Why do we care about valuations? Well, it's the key to finding hidden gems or steering clear away of potential pitfalls. Just like in the market where you want to pay a fair price for a quality product, in stocks we seek to identify whether a company is overvalued or undervalued or just right. But before you jump to how to find that one undervalued stock, understand the different lenses through which we can view a company, each revealing unique facets of its financial makeup. First, and the most popular one, market value. This is like the sticker price on our metaphorical product. It tells us what the market thinks the company is worth based on its stock price. But remember, appearances can be deceiving, and sometimes the market might not fully capture the true essence of a company's value. Enter enterprise value, our second lens. This takes a more comprehensive look by considering not just the stock price but also the company's debt and cash. It's like checking the overall cost of our product, including any hidden charges, to get a more accurate picture. Lastly, we have intrinsic value, the holy grail of valuations. This is like determining the true worth of our product, looking beyond external factors. It involves digging deep into a company's fundamentals, growth prospects, and future cash flows to arrive at its intrinsic or inherent value. Let's understand this with the help of an example. Imagine you are buying a used car or a second-hand car. So, from a market value point, this is the price you see on the car's listing. Let's say 8 lakh rupees. That's what the current market is willing to pay for that particular car. Coming to enterprise value. Now imagine the car comes with a loan that you need to take over, additionally adding 1 lakh rupees to the total cost. Therefore, the enterprise value of the car would be 8 lakh rupees of market value plus 1 lakh rupees of debt, making it 9 lakh rupees. Lastly, intrinsic value. If you research the car's history, consider its mileage, maintenance, and overall condition, and estimate its true worth to be 12 lakh rupees. Now, this is what you are doing in terms of assessing intrinsic value. This is your estimate of the car's real underlying worth. Market value is the current price in the market. Enterprise value is a broader measure including debts and other obligations. And intrinsic value is an estimate of the true worth based on fundamental factors. There are certain financial ratios that we use to value a company. Let's take a look at them. Starting with price to earnings ratio or PE ratio. Imagine you go to buy a sea-facing penthouse in Bandra, through which you want to generate an additional rental income. You want to make sure that you are paying the right price for that property. This is where PE ratio comes in. The price to earnings ratio is a financial metric that is commonly used to assess the valuation of a company's stock. It's a straightforward ratio that compares the current price of a stock to its earnings per share. Let's break down this with the help of an example. Consider a company whose market price is trading at Rs 100 right now, and the earnings per share is Rs 10. Therefore, the PE ratio will come out to be 10. This means that investors are willing to pay Rs 10 for every 1 rupee of earnings that are generated by the company. A high PE ratio suggests that the market expects strong future growth and is willing to pay a premium for that growth. However, it also increases the risk as the company needs to meet these high expectations. A low PE may indicate that the market has more conservative expectations regarding the company's future earnings. While this might suggest a potential value opportunity, it could also indicate concerns about the company's performance. Moving on to price to book ratio. The price to book ratio is a financial metric used to assess the valuation of a company's stock in relation to its book value per share. It provides insights into whether a stock is overvalued or undervalued based on the company's accounting value. Accounting value or book value is the value that the company would pay to its shareholders after selling off all its assets and paying off its liabilities. Considering the same example with the price of the stock at Rs 100 and book value at Rs 50, the PB ratio will come out to be 2, meaning that investors are willing to pay 2 rupees for every 1 rupee of book value. A higher PB ratio may suggest that investors are willing to pay a premium for the company's assets, indicating optimism about its future growth and earnings potential. Whereas a lower PB ratio may imply that the market values the company's assets less than its accounting value, potentially signaling undervaluation. Next up is price to cash flow ratio. This metric is used to assess the valuation of a company's stock by comparing its market price per share to its operating cash flow per share. Operating cash flow represents the cash generated or used by a company's core operating activities, excluding financing and investing activities. Again, sticking to the same example with price at Rs 100 and operating cash flow at Rs 20, the price to cash flow ratio will come out to be 5, indicating that the investors are willing to pay 5 rupees for every 1 rupee of operating cash flow generated by the company. A higher price to cash flow ratio may indicate that investors are willing to pay a premium for the company's cash generating ability, suggesting confidence in its financial health. Whereas a lower PCF ratio may suggest that the market values the company's cash flow less than its market price, potentially signaling a more conservative valuation. Next is price to sales ratio. It is also known as market cap to sales ratio. This helps investors assess the valuation of a company's stock relative to its total revenue. It's a simple ratio that provides insights into how the market values a company's sales. Consider the same company that we have been talking about. Let's say the market cap of the company stands at 1000 crores and its total revenue or sales for the most recent year stands at Rs 500 crores. Therefore, the market cap to sales ratio will come out to be 2. This indicates that investors are willing to pay 2 rupees for every 1 rupee of the company's total revenue. A higher price to sales ratio may indicate that investors are willing to pay a premium for the company's sales, suggesting high growth expectations or a strong market position. Whereas a lower price to sales ratio may suggest a more conservative valuation, indicating that the market values the company's sales more cautiously about its market capitalization. Lastly, we have EV to EBITDA ratio, which stands for enterprise value to earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. This ratio is used to assess the valuation of a company. It measures the relationship between a company's enterprise value and its EBITDA. Consider a company which has an enterprise value of Rs 100 crores and an EBITDA of Rs 20 crores, which means that the EV to EBITDA ratio will come out to be 5. This tells you that the market values the company at 5 times of its EBITDA. A lower EV to EBITDA ratio may indicate that a company is relatively cheaper in terms of its EBITDA. This could suggest that the company is undervalued, while a higher EV to EBITDA ratio may suggest that the market is willing to pay a premium for the company's EBITDA, indicating higher expectations for future growth or a strong market position. All these ratios can be used to filter companies on the ticker tape screen. Imagine you're in a neighborhood where houses are being sold. Now, you wouldn't price any house based solely on what you think it's worth, right? You'd look at what your neighbor's houses sold for recently to get an idea. That's the essence of competitive analysis. Instead of guessing a company's value, we compare it to similar ones in the market to make our lives easier. Say you're looking at a tech company. You wouldn't compare it to an FMCG, right? Would you? Let's say we are looking at two tech giants, Company A and Company B. They both make smartphones and have similar revenue and profit profiles. We are essentially putting them side by side to see which one offers better value. But first, how do we know which companies are comparable? Identifying comparables is more of an art than a science. The key lies in understanding and considering the relevant parameters. There are four major filters that you can use here. Number one, industry. Companies in the same industry are likely to have similar business models, growth rates, and risks, making industry classification a vital criterion. Again, would you compare the price of a house to the price of a car? Number two, size. A small startup might not be a good comparison to a multinational corporation, right? Look at factors such as revenue, assets, number of employees, and market capitalization. Even in the same locality, you might find a 1 BHK flat and a 4 BHK flat. But are they comparable? Not so. Number three is geographic location. Companies' valuations can be significantly affected by their operation regions due to differences in business practices, regulation, and macroeconomic factors. Does a house in Bombay and that in Bhopal cost the same? Surely not. Last but not the least, financial metrics. Key financial metrics such as profitability, growth rates, leverage, and liquidity should be comparable. To make it easier for you, you can head to the Tickertape app, search the name of your choice, and jump to peer section to analyze the comparable companies. Alternatively, you can also choose to head to Stock Screener, apply filters by sector, market cap, and many others. Well, this was it on valuations. In the coming module, we'll take a look at all the practical applications of whatever we have discussed so far. So stay tuned. Investments in the securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.